Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Today, we'll be discussing how to acquire more prospective patients in this digital era. With more patients searching online for their ideal healthcare provider, it's critical that you leverage the latest internet marketing trends and tools that are relevant to doctors and practices in order to get more patients and grow your online presence. My name is Pauline Ith. I will be hosting today's webinar. I'm an account manager at GMR Web Team, where we help practices around the US acquire and retain more patients by strengthening the three pillars of healthcare marketing success: creating a stellar online reputation, building a loyal and satisfied patient base, and developing a strong online presence. On today's agenda, we'll share a few different strategies on how you can get more patients. We'll start off by talking about dominating local search marketing, the benefits of having a user-friendly website, a process to obtain more online reviews, the benefits of paid advertising, and tools to bring your practice to the modern age. Lastly, we'll have a Q&A session at the end. So if you have any questions, please leave them in the question box and I'll answer them at the end. I do want to emphasize that a lot of these strategies play off one another. So by implementing more than one, your practice will find a lot more success online and increased growth. So we're starting off by talking about local search. And dominating local search will help increase your online presence and help you get more patients, especially since the search engines, many patients are using that to find their providers in their local area. So before we discuss any tactics or strategies, let's talk about how search engines work. So search engines go through billions of pages using their search engine bots. So they go through a lot of content and web pages, and these bots go through each page to record what's on the page and input it in a database. So when someone searches for a term like doctor near me or dermatologist near me, the search engine will pull the results based on pages that are the most relevant. So the higher you rank on search results, the more you're seen by prospective patients, which means more new patients and inquiries for your practice. So why is local search important to doctors and healthcare practices in particular? Well, area-based searches are crucial to increase the number of new patients coming through your doors. Area-based searches include primary terms like primary doctor in Phoenix, Arizona, or even primary doctor in Los Angeles. So it typically has the city or something that indicates the location area in the search term. And with area-based searches, like I said, the search engines will show results based on the searcher's particular location and the most relevant website and website pages. Near me searches are some of the most common area-based searches that people use. And as you can see, near me searches have increased by 200% since 2015. That's right, 200%. And near me searches consist of terms like dentist near me, or cardiologist near me, or primary care doctor near me. And these are really common terms used by patients actively looking for a doctor near them. It's something you definitely want to get ranked for. And here's another great statistic. There's been an 82.4% increase in people searching for dentists near me after the pandemic started. So if you were a dentist and you were being found for a dentist near me during this period where a lot of people actually stopped their marketing efforts, then you were getting a lot more inquiries and leads. Local search is definitely one of the best ways to get your practice in front of new patients. And now let's talk about exactly what strategies you can implement. So local search consists of these rankings on Google, right? So these are typically called local pack rankings, and these are organic rankings. So what we will be focusing on with today's slide is these local rankings here. And since search engines will rank your business relative to the searcher's location, you want to make sure your practice name, address, and phone numbers are the same across all relevant listing sites. And some important listing sites include Google My Business, Facebook, Yelp, Healthgrades, and Vitals. So these are some of the most common ones, but make sure you look out for any listing sites that you could potentially get listed on. And I know this may seem obvious to get listed and make sure your name, address, and phone number are correct, but we actually find a lot of practices are missing listings or it's not accurate, which causes search engines to trust your practice less and rank you lower. Second thing, Google My Business will be definitely key to your local search ranking results. So make sure you claim and authenticate your listing. Super easy process that would typically require a postcard verification. And this listing is especially important since Google will rank their local pack listings above their organic listings. Third, you want to obtain more Google reviews. So Google factors in your reviews when ranking your business against others. So with more positive Google reviews, their algorithm will rank your business higher than other competitors. Fourth thing, you just want to make sure you use appropriate keywords in your listing when updating and managing your Google My Business. Google will typically have a set list for you to choose from. So for example, if you're a dentist, you want to list all relevant keywords such as dentist, dental clinic. Obviously, if you don't do orthodontics, don't list that. And if you're a primary care doctor, make sure you list everything relevant. Same thing goes with if you're a specialist. I actually see a lot of practices with some keywords that are wrong or not the best option. So just make sure you take a look at the full list and see what works best for your practice. Lastly, you want to use Google My Business to post offers and more information about your services. Google has said in the past that businesses that are more active on Google My Business will rank higher. So posting on Google My Business is pretty similar to other social media sites like Facebook and Instagram, so make sure you leverage it. And I know a lot of this advice is also tailored towards Google, but that's just because a majority of searches actually occur on Google. Google is king and definitely the go-to search engine for many. So you want to make sure you're following their best practices. So the next important thing you can do for your practice and to acquire more patients is by creating a user-friendly website that is actually found online. So why are websites important? Websites are part of your practice's brand image and online visibility. And it helps increase brand recognition with your current patients. And a lot of doctors focus on the visuals of the website, which is definitely important, but a beautiful looking website is of no value if it's not easy to navigate or prospective patients can't find it on Google and it doesn't rank on Google itself. So you still want an eye-catching design that stands out from other practices, but make sure you still relay critical information about your services and that it's very clear to your new and existing patients. So I want to share some things to keep in mind if you're building a brand new website or you're looking to upgrade your current one. So like I said, the visuals are critical. You want to make sure your website is beautiful, but like I said, you want to make sure it's SEO friendly. So you want to work with a web developer that knows SEO and ensures your website is being indexed by Google and has all the proper coding for Google's algorithm. Second thing is load time. So websites that take over 6 seconds to load are considered slow. So if your website is slow to load, then prospects will move on to a different website. And low page speeds also contribute to poor search rankings. So make sure your website loads quickly on both mobile and desktop. Third thing, user experience. So make sure your website can adapt to mobile and tablet devices. Also make sure that it's easy to navigate. If your patient cannot find their desired information on the site, they move on. So make sure it's easy to learn more about your services, the practice itself, and the providers. Fourth thing, readability. So if you're working with a web developer, you should already know about, and they should already know about how easy it is or how to make the website easy to read. But it's an important tip for those who are trying to build a website yourself. So try breaking up the information on the web page into bullets, subheadings, short paragraphs, and make sure you balance the white space. Huge block of text can be turned off and very overwhelming. And we also encourage you to use images that illustrate what you're talking about in the paragraph. I've seen a lot of older websites with information overload, which makes it look outdated and overwhelming to the modern day searcher. So keep all this in mind when you're creating a site. Like I said, we recommend using a web developer, but if you're building the site yourself, it's something to keep in mind with the platform you use. So here's some recommended pages for your website. Like I said, you want to share more about yourself, but also make it easy for patients to reach out to you. So have an About Us page and also have a contact form, appointment requests, and even a call button. A lot of practices I talk to don't even have those things. So you want to make sure you also share information about all the providers at your practice if you have more than one, and all the services. A lot of websites I see actually don't have a lot of service pages, but how can patients know more about your practice and what you offer if you don't have individual service pages? And you also want to share more about each location if you have multiple locations. And like I said before, your website is part of your brand and the place you actually want to get a lot of inquiries to come through to. So make sure you make it functional so you can make a good first impression online. Third, generating more online reviews. So a lot of people might not think this directly affects their patient acquisition rates, but it definitely does. So if you're wondering if online reviews are important, I definitely want to share some statistics. So we conducted a survey of over 1,000 patients across the US and also used other data sources to find out how patients use online reviews in their provider search. And we found that over 81% of patients look at online reviews before choosing a doctor. And that should be no surprise. Many consumers are used to relying on reviews when it comes to picking restaurants, looking at hotels, purchasing products, and the healthcare industry is definitely not an exception to that. We also found that 60% of patients check 10 or more reviews before making their decision. So how many reviews do you have? One review isn't enough anymore, and there are only benefits to building a large number of reviews. It lends you credibility, it makes you look more attractive to prospective patients. Third, we also found that 75% of patients would only pay attention to reviews written in the last month. So it's critical that you generate reviews on a consistent basis to ensure your online reputation stays relevant. And finally, many consumers would not use a business with less than 4 stars. But that makes total sense, right? Why would you use a business that has poor reviews? It seems like it's a risk you're taking. So keeping all this in mind, I want to talk about exactly, how Google reviews impact your healthcare practice. So we briefly mentioned it, but I do want to say that, when Google assesses your local rankings, reviews account for 17% of how they rank local businesses. And generally, medical businesses with frequent positive reviews rank better than businesses that have negative reviews, no reviews, or outdated reviews. So like you mentioned, Google reviews are so critical to your local ranking success and to make a good impression for prospective patients. So you want to make sure you're hitting all the online review benchmarks. So we want to talk about what the ideal profile is for you, right? So we know getting 1 review isn't sufficient. Your star rating, recency, and quantity of reviews are definitely major factors that determine how prospective patients will perceive you. So ideally, you want to have at least 10 reviews since prospects tend to look at least 10 of your reviews, right? Like we mentioned. And you also want to make sure you maintain at least a 4.0 rating because patients will not consider your business if you have anything less. And you also want to make sure you're generating reviews every month. So some of our clients think like once they have a large quantity, they're done, there's no more reviews needed. But like I said, people want to see recent reviews and count those as more credible than reviews from 1 year ago. So based on the statistics I went through, patients will want to see new reviews. So remember that you should aim to get at least 3 to 4 reviews a month. It's a little bit of an unreasonable expectation to expect every patient to leave a review, but getting 3 to 4 at least per month is good to keep your quantity going up and to maintain your 4.0 rating and to keep it all relevant. We also encourage you to get more reviews across a variety of review sites. Google is definitely one of the most important as a majority of prospects check Google reviews, but WebMD, Facebook, Yelp, and Healthgrades are just as important. So if you have poor reviews on Facebook or Yelp or WebMD, you want to make sure you focus on getting more reviews there. So now let's talk about how to exactly generate more reviews. So one of the most important things is to actually create a formal process. So whether that's training your staff to ask, using a QR code or business card, or even an online reputation software, you need some kind of process. Why? We often find that patients who are happy or satisfied with your service may often forget to leave a review, and unhappy patients tend to be the most vocal. So therefore, your online reviews and reputation may be inaccurately represented. So the best way to fix this is to get more genuine reviews consistently. Second thing is to manage your reputation is to make sure you respond to all reviews, whether they're positive or negative. Prospective patients will want to see you engaging and actually reading the feedback that people leave. Third is actually monitor your reviews. So make sure you take time to check in on all the review sites you have and see where you need to improve. If you're using an online reputation software, they should be sending you notifications of when you get new reviews and what your overall rating scores are across the board and on each site. So make sure you monitor reviews to see where you need to improve. So paid advertising, I get asked about this a lot, but it's definitely another great way to get more patients digitally. And paid ads is such a powerful tool nowadays. But before we discuss strategy and why it's beneficial, let's talk about exactly what are paid ads. So these ads appear on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Yelp, and Google. And for example, the screenshot we have here is of Google Ads. And they actually appear on top of organic and local pack search results. So it's really powerful, right? Because it gives a great first, it is one of the first things that patients will see when they make a search. And there are a lot of paid ads options out there. And ads have definitely come a long way. They're definitely a lot more seamless. They appear right in the feed, and most patients won't even recognize that it's an ad. So it's a great way to help your practice get more patients quickly. So how can paid ads help you? Well, I always say that ads are a great way to supplement any current strategy that you have, and it's a great way to have controlled marketing. So for example, if you're a dentist looking to get more implant patients, you can create ads based on that. And also there's a lot of targeting options. So you can target based on age, interests, and even income. This is very common on Facebook. And with Google, you can even restrict your ads to certain searches. So if you only want to be found for the term OBGYN near me, it's definitely doable and something you can do. Another great thing I like about ads is that you can also cap out your budget. So if you only want to spend $500 a month, you can do so. You can set up a whole landing page and even track all the calls to make sure you're getting the most out of your paid ads campaign. And like I said previously, ads are now developed to be very integrated in the user experience. So it's not very in your face, which is a good thing, right? Because we want people to click on the ads. So like I said, Google search ads look like regular search results. Instagram ads can appear seamlessly right in the feed. So that's definitely something I recommend to add to your marketing strategy. Fifth thing you can do to get more patients is actually just make your practice more modern. What I mean by that is adding tools to help you reach more people and make it more convenient for patients to book appointments with you. So for example, online appointment requests are one of the best ways to start modernizing your practice. It takes a lot less work off your staff, and patients can easily book an appointment online without having to pick up the phone. There are a lot of great HIPAA compliant options out there that can integrate with your EMR, and your EMR may even have an automated booking system already. So we recommend implementing this, like I said, as it allows you to capture more leads, especially outside of office hours, or if the phone lines are busy, because you don't want to lose those patients that are coming to you, maybe through Google or for referrals. So if you don't want to do online appointment requests, then you should at least have a form on your website where people can request their ideal time and your staff can call them back. So this is something I definitely recommend that everybody implements. One of the easiest ways to help you get more patients to your practice. Another thing is two-way texting. So this is a great way to engage patients and provide more communication options that can help you reach more prospective patients who have different communication preferences. So this can be ideal to also answer quick questions, provide real-time communication options, and reduce no-shows. Again, your EMR platform may have this, but there are definitely a lot of other vendors out there that are HIPAA compliant with the texting options. So with a lot of younger people, especially not wanting to call to book an appointment, having other options like text or online appointment requests is one of the great ways you can get more younger patients through your front door. Third, appointment confirmation reminders. So it's one thing to get patients to book an appointment. It's another thing to actually get them to come in. So with appointment confirmation reminders, it allows your staff to better communicate with new patients and current patients, and can also help reduce the amount of no-shows. So if you have a high volume of patients being seen, a more automated system can just help your staff out a lot more, because calling each patient to remind them of their appointment is definitely a lot. But a lot of times patients do need reminders that their appointment's coming up. So you just want to make sure you have something in place So like I said, reduce the amount of no-shows, and if someone cancels, you can place a new patient right in their slot or a current patient. So that's critical. So we talked about a lot, so let's do a quick recap of what we discussed today. So first off, we went over 5 easy tips on how to improve your local search marketing rankings to get in front of more local patients. We mentioned maintaining listing accuracy, claiming your Google My Business profile and ensuring it's updated properly, and also making sure you generate more reviews on Google, right? And we also talked about having a user-friendly and SEO-ready website to drive more traffic and increase inquiries to your practice. So remember, work with a developer that has experience in SEO and website development to ensure your website meets Google algorithm requirements. Third, we also discussed how online reviews influence your SEO rankings and how poor reviews will make patients more hesitant to choose your practice. So you want to make sure you're generating online reviews on a consistent basis, maintaining that 4.0 star rating to get the most out of your online reputation. So fourth, we talked about paid advertising. So we said this is a great way to supplement your current marketing efforts and to really target those ideal patient cases, right? Facebook, Google, Instagram are some of the most common paid ad options, and they have so many ways you can target your ideal patient. And also it's a great way for you to say, hey, if I want to spend 500, let's do it on this. And it's a great way to ensure you get more new patients. Fifth, we also discussed how to modernize your practice. So with online appointment requests, two-way texting, and appointment confirmation reminders, makes it easy for patients to reach out to you to book appointments and increase patient engagement. So that's just a good summary of what you can do with all these digital tools and to make sure you're modernizing your practice in this digital era. So let's see if we have any questions here. So one of the questions I get, and this is a common one, someone just posted, is how long does it take to see results with local search and SEO in general? So yeah, this is a good question I get from a lot of leads and practices that talk to us. So with SEO, it does take a little longer. We always say at least 4 to 5 months to see some kind of improvement in your rankings and the amount of leads coming in. And the reason for this is that I always say that SEO is definitely a marathon, not a sprint. And that's because if other practices are doing SEO or you're in a highly competitive area, it's just a little bit of a bigger mountain to climb, but consistency is really key, making sure you're getting more reviews, updating your website with your web developer to follow Google protocols. But it's definitely one of the best long-term investments you get, because the more you're maintaining that ranking, the more leads are just coming in. So I would say at least 3 to 4 months. So be patient. Don't expect results overnight or even within 1 month. It definitely takes some time. See here, another question. Is there a recommended platform for websites? I hear that WordPress is popular. Yeah, so that's a good question, because I also talked a lot of practice with websites on like Squarespace or Wix. So I would say a good website that's being at least indexed on Google is better than nothing, but I do recommend just at least working with someone who has experience in SEO. I think that's the most important thing, because I've talked to a lot of practices that have websites built by people, and it's just doesn't make sense functionally. Like they don't have a call button, they don't have appointment requests, they don't have certain keywords. So I would recommend, working with a web developer or like a marketing agency like GMR that has experience in making sure the website is digital marketing friendly. If you're making a website on your own, I don't exactly recommend that. But if you're tight on a budget, I would say like Squarespace or Wix are a good place to start. But like I said, a website's a really good investment. So if you work with a good developer, it's something you don't have to redo all the time. So a good developer makes a big difference. Another question I have is, how long does it take to see results with paid ads? Okay, so with paid ads, another benefit I forgot to mention is that you can see results a lot quicker. I would say it takes us at least a month to start seeing leads come in. And the benefit of that, paid ads is because it's so controlled. You don't have to wait for Google to start, okay, this page is relevant, it's going to get ranked with SEO. With paid ads, you can get in front of people really quick, advertise your product really quick, your service. So I would say 1 month. So I always recommend this if you have a good sized marketing budget to do paid ads in conjunction with SEO, because SEO does take some time and paid ads will get you results a lot faster. So that's something I recommend. And let's see here. Last question, what strategy is most cost effective? I would say SEO is one of the best things you can invest in. But overall, I think, having services or implementing strategies that work together is probably one of the best things you can do. So having at least a website, getting those reviews generated, having those online appointment requests, that's one of the best things you can do. But I would say most cost effective is probably SEO. So I would say that. But I would say reviews is definitely coming up there as one of the most, cost effective ways, because reviews do impact a lot of your local search rankings. So toss it between reviews and SEO, but I would say SEO. Okay, perfect. I think that's all the questions we're going to be doing today. But if you need help expanding your online presence and getting more patients, definitely get in touch with us at GMR Web Team. We'll provide a free consultation and assessment on your SEO, your reputation, even your website. We'd love to talk to you more about what we can do and what you can do to get more patients. So I just want to thank everybody for their time today. We appreciate it so much, taking your time out of your busy day to attend this webinar. So if you missed any part, we'll send the recording after this call. And yeah, so thank you so much. And we hope you have a great day. So thank you so much.